Hey, good evening to you. How's it going?
Hi, is it Janelle?
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
Yeah, very well, thank you. How's yourself?
Yeah, I'm doing pretty well. Couldn't be better. And it's great to have you here on my podcast today. And I want to
Yeah,
tell my viewers that Anthony is a addiction therapist, integrative counselor, and a meditation teacher. Right?
yeah, thank you. It's a pleasure to be invited on. I'm looking forward to speaking about some of the challenges that I face with addiction.
Definitely. So, yeah, what's the major addictions among youngsters or among people in general nowadays?
Yeah, yeah, sure. So, um, I primarily work with like sex addiction and porn addiction. Porn addiction seems to be the main issue at the moment with young men. So, I work with a lot of men in the 20s and the 30s who are struggling with pornography. They've been watching it since they were like 12 years old. The time they come to me, they can't get a relationship. They struggle to be in a relationship with a woman. They struggle with their emotions. They struggle with self-esteem. They isolate themselves. And it seems like we've got an epidemic of pornography addiction due to free pornography on the internet that men have been watching now for the past, 20 years, something like that. That's how long it's been free on the internet, which is absolutely crazy. A lot of these guys can access the pornography on the phone, so it's so hard to stop doing it because you can just stick Google on and put a website up, and within a few seconds, you're on a porn site. So a lot of the work that I do is to help men quit pornography and do a lot of emotional work regarding helping them to re-regulate and feel their emotions that they've suppressed by watching pornography for a long time. Yeah.
And what are the disadvantages of it if someone is addicted to pornography? Like, what are the disadvantages of
Did you say what are the disadvantages?
it? That's right. Yeah.
Yeah. So um, with pornography, um, you end up developing like a bond with your phone instead of a person. So because it releases like dopamine and
Mm.
oxytocin is a bonding chemical, and we end up bonding with the pornography instead of a person. So we end up isolating ourselves due to shame. And the main issue is people feeling depressed, feeling isolated, and having no motivation to, you know, do their own business, get a decent job, find a partner, move forward in life. They're really finding it hard to move forward because they've got no energy to do that. So the main obstacles that I come across is clients who struggle to find purpose in life and struggle to find healthy relationships with women. Yeah.
Mhm. Got it. And is this thing limited to men only, or like women are also into it?
Yeah, women can suffer from pornography addiction, but not as much as men. It seems to be affecting men more than women, even though there are women who are addicted to pornography. I'm coming across mostly men in the 20s and the 30s, but I also work with men who are a bit older who go to escorts and sex workers and want help and webcams and OnlyFans, and they want help not paying for sex anymore, and they want to sort of like quit that side of life. So I don't just deal with pornography. I deal with a lot of sexual issues. But the main epidemic at the minute that I'm coming across that I've worked with for the past 3 years is young men addicted to pornography.
Makes sense. And do you think that somewhere the issue lies with social media? Like a lot of people nowadays, they see everything on social media, and also I guess that might be the reason a lot of people are getting addicted to these things.
Yeah. So if you can imagine, like through the addiction, a neural pathway has been formed in the brain to watch pornography. So just say someone went onto Instagram and they seen a picture of like a bikini model, they might click on the link, and then that takes them to the bikini model's OnlyFans page, and then next minute they're buying a video for 9.99 to see a video of the model. So you can see how the internet is like luring young men in. So you're right, social media, especially like um, Instagram and X, it's full of pornography or nude images, and that's the problem. And young men are getting succumbing to that temptation. Yeah.
Makes sense. So, a hypothetical question: do you think that the world would become a better place if there was no social media?
Yes and no. So social media can be used in a positive way to keep in touch with family and friends in different countries and different parts of the world. However, we know it's not sometimes used for that. It's used to show how much you've got, what you're doing, where you're going on holiday, what you're
Yeah,
eating. It's
definitely.
very, it can be very egotistical. So there's people who use it, Facebook, for connection, but there's also people use it for self-esteem.
True. And if I tell you honestly, Anthony, like I'm a teacher, I teach English. A lot of parents are concerned about nowadays. I'm not sure whether you know it or not, but really like teenage girls, they are really into Korean dramas, K-pop, and anime, those kind of things, and they are, they try to imitate them. They are like, they wanna sound like them. They wanna have the skin, I guess, glass skin. That's what they call it. So
Yeah.
they are really into this kind of things as well. So, what's your take on it for those parents and children?
It's difficult because children's role models now are influencers on social media, and the children now all want to be podcasters or influencers, and sometimes you're going to be looking up to the wrong people. And there's people on, as we know, on social media who've got millions of followers, but they're spreading the wrong message.
Yeah,
So I think there'll always be people who follow the wrong types of people. But you're right, especially with young girls, they think it's okay to wear certain clothes, to be provocative to men. They think
mm,
it's okay to treat men a certain way because society tells them to do that. So there's real dangers here that people are starting to be brainwashed with some of the stuff on social media and listening to the wrong people who are giving out the wrong advice.
true. And one thing it reminds me, uh, a room without books is a body without soul. And I can see a lot of books behind you. Even I have a library. So that's remind me of a question. Like nowadays, a lot of youngsters, they are not really into the habit of reading books. They think it's too boring, or they would sound like they would look kind of nerd. So,
Yeah.
what's your take on it? The habit of reading actual physical books.
So I think reading physical books is important, or if you can't read them, at least listen to them. If you're not a visual learner, be an audible learner and listen to the books, and you can listen to them while you're driving, on the train, on a bike. You can do them on various methods. I just think because of social media and the internet and apps, people's attention span is not longer than like 10 minutes now, so they find it hard to concentrate on a book. Um, if I'm working with a client and I recommend a book to them, I just say to them, read a chapter within the next week. So I'll set them a task just to read 30 pages within a week, and that's more manageable then. So I find if you break it down, a book, into small sections for people, the more interested, because people's attention span is so small now, basically.
That's right.
Yeah, yeah,
And one more thing that is an area of concern, like as I deal with children, be it children or youngsters or people in general, they are addicted to junk food as well. Um, yeah,
yeah.
yeah. Like gone are the days where children used to, eat home cooked food prepared by their mothers. Now they want is garbage. So, what's your take on that?
Are you talking like McDonald's, like KFC, fast food, like fried food, like stuff that's really bad for you? Um, I would say that every kid goes through that journey. So
Mm,
when I was younger, I would love junk food and not know what it was doing to me. And I'd drink a McDonald's milkshake thinking it was superb when I didn't realise it had like 40 grams of sugar in it. um, so I think everybody has to learn for themselves that that food is toxic, and eventually you have to clean up your diet and do a bit of fasting and eat a bit cleaner. But for young people, they just want they just love fast food. They just love burgers and fries and nuggets and can you stop them eating it? That's the thing. The advertisements has got them, hasn't it? So I agree, it's not good for them. However, I think every young person goes through that, you know.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
And how can parents keep a track on their children? Let's assume that if they are into pornography nowadays, children are really smart. Children are being
Yeah.
parents make sure that they use the mobile for the right purpose.
So it's difficult because if your child is taking his or her phone to bed with them, you don't know what they're doing. Even if you turned off the internet, they could still get on 4 or 5G and watch videos that way, especially if they've got the data. The only way you'd be able to do it is to put blockers on the phones where it blocks adult sites. So there's certain blockers you can get which block any sites which are 18 over. So if you're giving your child an iPhone when he's 12, you should be at least putting a blocker on that because he's going to go into the dark world of the internet and God knows what he's going to be looking at.
Definitely.
So it's the parents' responsibility to make sure that the kids are not subject to that. However, the parents are on their phones and they're too busy distracted about what the children are doing, you know.
That's the case, Anthony. Like I often observe that for the sake of keeping the child quiet, parents hand over the phones to their children, and even parents themselves are on mobile phones all the time. So I guess that's how children learn through the examples. That if my parents are doing it, I would also do it.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, it's learned behaviour. If you see your dad and he's always on his phone and you're his son, you're going to want a phone and you're going to want to be on your phone like dad. So you can't just give a child a phone to keep it quiet because as it grows up, it's going to have that attachment to the phone and then it's just going to lose all its social skills and it'll only be able to communicate through a phone, which is crazy, isn't it?
Definitely. Yeah.
Yeah.
I was quite intrigued by the fact that you have been practicing meditation for like 9 years. It's really phenomenal. Also
Yeah.
a yoga trainer, so I know how hard it is to meditate, even for like 10 minutes. It can be.
Yeah. Yeah, thank you. I started in 2016 and I started with like Buddhist meditations, like silent meditations. And I managed to have a couple of breakthroughs like within the first 6 months of meditating. And that what that did is it kept me going. And I've pretty much meditated every day since. And now I do a 45-minute practice in the morning, but just complete silence meditation. And sometimes like I'll use a mantra, so I'll use like meditation beads, like in yoga, and I'll do a mantra like 108 times on the meditation beads and like program that in for the day. But I absolutely love it. It's completely changed my life. It's helped me with my job. It's helped me with my emotions. It's helped me to become more self-aware. It's helped me attract abundance. It's helped me to become more joyful. It's absolutely amazing if you can keep it up. I love it.
And that feeling is like extremely, subjective. You cannot express it. The feeling that we get from after an hour or after a session of meditation, it's completely like, I guess, ineffable. That thing.
Yeah, very true. Not like you said before, not easy to do and very hard to maintain. But if you can do it, the juice is definitely worth the squeeze because it pays off eventually, and you start to get into your heart, get out of your head and into your heart. And when you get in here, it's just like, oh, that's nice. It's really good. Yeah.
Great. And apart from meditation, what else do you like to do in your downtime?
So I live in the country, so I do a lot of walking. I live in an area which is quite rural, that not many people love, and not many people live, and it's a beautiful area. I like to do a bit of research with like addiction and like psychology and philosophy. I used to do a lot of yoga, but now I just do meditation and I exercise quite a lot too. I love reading. I love watching YouTube videos. I love listening to music. And I love playing music as well. So I've got a lot of hobbies and interests that I do on my downtime. And I actually love the work that I do, working with clients and helping them with their addictions as well. So yeah, life's good, really good.
No, I'm glad to hear that. Nice, great. And when it comes to philosophy, like uh, what kind of philosophers do you admire? Or like, what's your, affirmation or mantra when it comes to philosophy? Like any quote you like, any sort of.
Yeah, I mean, like some of my favorite philosophers is like Alan Watts. Um, I like I like sort of like yoga philosophy. I like Yogananda. I like Buddhist philosophy. I like Lao Tzu, like Taoist philosophy. So Chinese. I've learned like Hindu philosophy, um, Chinese Taoist philosophy, and Buddhist philosophy. And what they all say is the same thing. They all say that we're all connected as one, and God is in our hearts, and that's what joins us all, and we're all connected to the whole. So there's no separation. The only things that separates us between each other is our egos, our identities. And when we drop our identities, we're both the same. And the God that we're looking for, that a lot of people worship, like outside themselves, is actually inside us. And I think that's what meditation does. It helps you to, I think in Hindu philosophy, it's called the Atman, and the Atman is the seat of the soul inside your heart. And when I learned that in Hindu philosophy, it took me a lot deeper in my meditation, and I realised that instead of looking outside of myself to a God, look inside. And then once I started to look inside, I then started to hear the voices and the whispers of the heart. So philosophy for me is a way of life. It's a way of being. It's how we interact with others in the world. Do we want to be judgmental, or do we want to accept people and love them for who they are, even if we don't like them? That's the key.
Literally. Wow.
I've learned a bit about Ayurveda. Um, I've learned like some stuff of Ayurveda of like what foods to eat and what my dosha is. Like I'm a pitta dosha when I did the dosha like quiz, so I have to stay away from like fiery foods. But I love curries. I love like spicy food, and I love like chili. So I have to be careful because if I eat too much of that, I get a bit fiery.
So,
Yeah.
you might have studied that also, Anthony, like Rajas, Tamas, and Sattva gunas. Rajas, Tamas, and Sattva. I'm not sure whether you know this, but it's a part of Ayurveda.
Ah, right. Okay. Yeah. Interesting. Yeah. Um, I just love Indian culture because my great nan was Indian, so I've got a bit of Indian in me, and I just love Indian culture. And I work with a lot of Muslim clients as well, and I've worked with like people from different cultures. I've worked with like Hindu, Muslim, and I just love the way um, Indian people support each other, and they're really family orientated, and they respect their elders and look after their elders when they become older, which is lovely. In the UK, we put our elders in a nursing home and forget about them.
Yeah, it's yeah. And as we talked about Ayurveda, Anthony, do you think that what we eat is who we are, like in terms of consumption
Yeah,
of?
yeah, absolutely. If if we're eating food which is artificial food, which is not grown in the sun, that's not going to help us at all on a cellular level. If we're eating fresh food, organic food, which is grown in the sun, we're going to get the energy from that food. And the gut is so important what you put in your gut, because as you know, your gut's connected to your brain. So if you don't put good stuff in your stomach, you're not going to feel good. And if you're not going to feel good, you're not going to really tackle life. You're going to find it hard to get going. So yeah, absolutely. I think it's important what we put in our mouths and the food that we cook and the sort of foods that we eat from the supermarkets. Yeah, I would always recommend people shopping in farm shops or organic stores instead of the supermarket.
Mm. And which
Because
is
yeah, sorry, go on.
no, carry on, Anthony.
Because in the UK, a lot of our vegetables and fruits is imported from other countries, and it's plastic. It's pre-packed in plastic bags, and that's not healthy for you. Yeah.
Uh, Which is the one food that you can eat gazillion of times and never get tired of it?
Um, beef,
Oh, okay.
yeah, steak,
Mm,
because I only eat certain foods. You say so. I only eat like steak, eggs, and yogurt, and I don't eat that many. I try to eat as clean as I can. So really sort of high protein foods, um, but also foods with fibre and to get the vitamins from, because you have to be careful with some foods because of the nutrition value, because we've got a magnesium deficiency and an iron deficiency and a zinc deficiency. I try to get me minerals from decent foods because I struggle to get that. So yeah, it'd be for me. It'd be like steak, um, beef, salmon, like fatty type foods where I will get the protein but also get the healthy fats from the actual fat in the food, because that's good for you, healthy fats.
definitely.
Yeah.
Yes. And in terms of like, I forgot, I lost the train of thoughts. Uh,
It's okay. Do you want me to talk a bit more about porn addiction?
yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was coming to that point. I forgot. Yeah.
Yeah, because I just think if if young men watch this video and something could help them to not watch pornography, would be to start having day breaks, and if they're watching it every day, to start having breaks of watching it maybe one day but and then watching it the other day and then having breaks, but also being part of like something, being part of the group or like a community, because the shame that these people are carrying because of what they're doing, they tend to isolate themselves. And what I've noticed, that one of the antidote to addictions is connection. If we're part of a tribe, or we're part of something, or we're part of a group, we can heal a lot quicker than we can if we're on our own and we don't ask for help. So there's a lot of young men who are suffering in silence, and they spend a lot of time in the internet on the internet and spend a lot of time indoors. And if they're watching this, what I would say to them is start learning about pornography addiction, join some support groups, and start watching less of it, because it's going to really hurt your life moving forward. And you might get to like 30 years of age and look back and go, I've just wasted the last 15 years masturbating and doing nothing with my life, and now I'm on catch up. Yeah.
Um, and yeah, like today itself, I was watching news, and in that it was mentioned that like they were saying that recently the OTT platforms, like in India, earlier in movies, if some kind of pornography was there, it used to be censored by the critics or by the whosoever keeps the track on it. But now because of OTT, everyone can. There are no restrictions on that. People can make any kind of stuff in the name of artistic things. So
Yeah.
yeah, so that's an area of concern, like among Indian people and among Indian parents as well. So what's your take on?
Well, it should be, because it's not being regulated. And the problem is, children are then going to start accessing pornography easier. And if they start accessing it easier, they're going to have more problems, because if if something bad happens in your life and you don't deal with the grief or the depression or the sadness of that event that's happened in your life, and you watch pornography that evening instead, you're not going to deal with the issue until you actually come off pornography. So people are actually suppressing their emotions and suppressing things that go through, that happens to them in life. And the parents obviously don't know what's going on because the child keeps it a secret. And then in later life, they have all sorts of problems. So, yeah, I mean, parents in India should be worried, because if that's not being regulated, you've got to ask, why is it not being regulated? And who's stopping that from being regulated? Because that's affecting your future generations the same way in the UK. the young people are our future. And if they're going to be all addicted to pornography, you can imagine what the future's going to be like. Crazy. I think statistically now 60% of a lot of men are addicted to pornography.
Oh, prior to meeting you, I never thought that this was such a big issue uh, in today's world. Oh,
It's because social media platforms don't put that on the algorithm. So if you're talking about like pornography addiction, or you put like a hashtag about pornography addiction, a lot of the time the word porn's not allowed on certain platforms. So sometimes actually doesn't get through to the certain algorithms where another post would. That my post, because I usually post on TikTok, Instagram, and Facebook. Instagram and Facebook, the algorithms, a lot of me posts don't get hardly any traffic, but TikTok, I can get a lot more traffic through TikTok. So, like for example, on Instagram, one of my posts might get 250 views. On TikTok, it might get 5,000 views. So there's definitely something going on with the algorithms. And people are not being told what's going on. That's the thing. And the only people who do know what's going on are the men who are doing it. But they're not saying anything because they feel too guilty and shameful to admit what they're doing. So guys like yourself, who are probably unaware of how big the problem is, won't know if there's a big problem because you're not seeing it. Where, because of my job, I'm seeing it all the time. I'm working with at least 10 men a week who are addicted to pornography, as well as other men with different issues. But I'd say at least 10 people a week who are addicted to pornography for the last 3 years. That's who I've been seeing, and that's how I know it's a problem.
okay.
Yeah.
And can parents know without even if a child doesn't say it, but on the basis of behavior, can parents anyhow identify that their child might be into pornography?
Yeah. So the child will be spending more time on his own or her on her own. So they'll notice that the child is spending more time in the bedroom because obviously that's got or the bathroom because they're the only two places you can masturbate if you think about it. So it's going to be either one of those two locations, bathroom or bedroom. So if they start to pull away from the family and start to become more reserved and more unhappy and isolate themselves more, you'll know that they're spending more time on the phone.
Okay, got it. And, what's the role of parents when it comes to discussing sex education with their children?
So for some odd reason in schools, there's no talk of pornography with sex education. So sex education in school, they show them sex education, the basics, but they don't talk about the dangers of pornography. Now, we know that most children aged 11 or 12 are watching pornography on the phones, or they're watching nude videos on YouTube, with like provocative women, like twerking or whatever. So if that's the case, schools should be tackling this and saying, listen, children, we know you're at this age. If you look at this stuff, this is what's going to happen to you. Or they should get someone in who struggled with pornography and talk to them about the dangers of becoming addicted to pornography. And then the children will start to listen. But obviously, the schools are frightened of doing that for some reason. And it must be to do with the governments. But that should be in all schools, and it should be part of the sex educational curriculum that you learn about the dangers of watching pornography at an early age. Yeah.
And before we call it today, what sort of advice would you like to give in general, like on the basis of your life experience, on the basis of your years of meditation, advice that people can assimilate and they can make their lives better?
Yeah. Okay. Um, so, if I had to give people advice, if I had to give people a few words of advice, the first one would be, don't be too hard on yourself. A lot of people put far too much pressure on themselves to be perfect, so they don't get rejected. And that can work one or two ways. It can either make you into a high achiever and you can get stuff done, which is good, but also it can help you. It can make you burn out, and when we put all that pressure on ourselves, we forget to have fun and we take life too seriously. And inside of us, there's a playful inner child that just wants to have a laugh and just wants to like fool around. And we lose that as we get older. So I would always say to people, don't take yourself too seriously. Try to be playful and joyful with what you've got, but don't strive to be this person you're not, just to show other people that you're good enough. Because sometimes we do things in life to show the world that we're good enough, not realizing that we're already good enough. So that would be my first one. My second one would be to encourage as many people as possible to start meditating, because once you start meditating, it will completely change your life. But what I'd recommend is don't start off doing half an hour meditations each time. Start off with 2 minutes for the first week, then 3 minutes for the second week, 4 minutes for the third week, and then just keep adding a few minutes on each week until you get to like 20 minutes, half an hour. Make sure you get up at a certain time every day to meditate, and then start using that as a discipline. And the more disciplined we are, the more we're able to accept life's challenges, because life is a bit like a roller coaster. It's up and down, and sometimes we don't know what challenges we're going to face. And if we're disciplined, we're more likely to meet those challenges head on instead of avoiding them or complaining about them, so to speak. My third one would be nutrition, is to look at your diet and the things that you eat, because the things that you eat affect how you act and how you feel. So if you're eating crap food, you're going to feel like crap. If you're eating, fake food, you're not going to feel very good if you're eating artificial food. I'd recommend moving the body at least half an hour a day, even if you just go for a walk. Just movement and just getting outside in nature does wonders for the brain. Just using that, even just somatically moving, gets the cogs turning and gets the brain working properly. And also sleep. Like, sleep is so important. Like, if you're not going to bed at the same time every day and waking up at the same time, you're not into a rhythm. And then if we don't sleep properly, it just affects everything. It affects us on a cellular level. It affects our mental health. It affects our physical health. It affects us the way we show up with people. It affects our energy levels. And water, clean water with salt. So sea salt, but with clean water in it, for magnesium, because the number one deficiency in the planet is magnesium. And if we can get more magnesium in us, we have more energy. And let's face it, a lot of us are running on low energy because we're either on our phones all the time, or we're not eating good food, or we're not sleeping well. So it sounds pretty simple. It sounds pretty simple, doesn't it? But a lot of people don't stick to that, because they might want to stay up late watching a series, or they might want to work late, but you never get the sleep back. You can have a lie in the next day, but you never get the sleep back. If we're just running on 5 or 6 hours a night, unless you're a yogi and you're like high vibrating at like a high frequency, you should be getting at least 7 to 8 hours a night, and that will really help your mental health. Yeah.
That's good. Wow. Thank you for your sagacious advice, Anthony. It was lovely to have you here on my podcast. And yeah, we're gonna catch up soon with podcast part 2, if possible. And yeah, take care of yourself. Thank you for again being a guest on my podcast.
Thank you. And it was an absolute pleasure talking to you. Thanks very much. Take care. Cheers.